Hi, it's Dr. Davidson at Revolution Aesthetics. And today what we're going to do, we're going to continue the coronavirus series and have a think about a few of the things that's come up over the week. So I've seen a lot of discussion around our ethnic minority groups, and I've seen a lot of discussion around age and how it might relate to the coronavirus. So I think the first important thing to say is that new evidence is coming up week by week. There are places that are ahead of us, there are places that are behind us across the world. So the evidence and the tests that are coming at different speeds and to different levels of quality. So remember, it's a novel virus, everything is new. As we begin to get more information about the virus, the take-home message is still stay at home, try and prevent it spreading, try and prevent you catching it if you're in one of these vulnerable groups. So let's look at our Black and Asian groups. One thing we do know is that there's a high mortality rate related to these groups. And while we wait for information as to why and then give us some more evidence and advice about how we can prevent it, we do know that what we need to do is be safe. It could be cultural, it could be genetics, there could be some socioeconomic problems and associations related to this effects or these effects of the virus on this group of people. But while we're waiting for the info, we stick by the rules, we stay safe, we stay away, we keep looking after ourselves, we stay protected. It's the only thing we can do that we know that will work at this moment. And I think the same applies to the age-related evidence that we're getting. We know that there's about 3 times as much risk of mortality in those over 50 than under 50. And that's not to disenfranchise people who are in these groups, these age groups, because your risk just increases every decade till it goes up over 50. And even for those who are particularly well-bodied, we wouldn't want anyone to feel like you're being forced to stay at home, because that's where we might start seeing some of these associations with the released lockdown. You know, we might be advising those in a particular age bracket to maybe stay at home a little longer or to abide by social distancing rules and care to be taken when leaving the house for a little bit longer. But I think that's just to be safe. At the moment, the figures speak for themselves. The mortality speaks for itself. And if you are over 50, you should be taking more care. I think that's just the safest thing to say at this moment. We're going to be having further discussions about masks, I'm sure, as we're seeing it across the globe. But I think it's fair enough to say that it will reduce the spread a little bit, without causing mass hysteria. You can see that in other parts of the world, this has been initiated and carried out. And it's probably the way that we're going to go to some degree, safety first, particularly in the groups that deem themselves as vulnerable, or you've been given a letter. You need to take care and look after yourself. I mean, we look at things in the past. We're hearing a lot about Spanish flu. We hear a lot about its associations with the second wave and high second wave. It's linked to mortality. We can see that now. We've seen in Japan, we've seen in Germany. Once you begin to relax lockdown, and particularly if it's not done correctly or if it's not done in a controlled manner, that second wave can be quite tough. And I don't think it's worth the death toll. It's not worth the lives. It's probably better we take our time and figure out a really good plan for us all getting back to work and for us all getting back to a normal sense of living. If we could look at something entirely ridiculous, let's look at the Donald Trump comments and the use of disinfectants, bleaching products. It's nonsense. They work exteriorly, they don't work internally. They're completely unadvisable. You use these products for external use only. Good hand washing should always abide. There's nothing wrong with soap and water. Be careful with your own personal hygiene. So be mindful about listening to just everything that we see on the TV and in the media, even from those people in power, because occasionally it's dangerous. There's a big thing to say about mental health as well. Just loneliness. You don't even have to have a mental health problem or disease. Community care, I've been pushing this since the beginning. I think it's really important. Let's look after each other. Let's keep communicating. Let's keep talking. Don't let anyone go quiet or silent on you. Make sure everyone around you is okay. Community spirit needs to continue if it's going to bring us through this. Trust me. Okay. Look after yourself. Stay safe.